Greetings, brothers and sisters. It's your brother Sundin Esperance back again with another episode of the ITHRIVED podcast. We got sister Sara from Jacksonville, Florida, aka Puerto Rico. ¿Qué pasó, mi hermanos? ¿Qué pasó, hermana? ¿Qué pasa,
Eh, Boricua.
Boricua, boricua, no sabe, no sabe. Habla un poquito, habla un poquito. Ae. Well, sis, how you doing this evening?
I'm wonderful.
Wonderful,
Doing
wonderful.
great.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Oh, how's the weather like in Florida? I know there's like a hurricane or something supposed to be over there.
Yes,
So
it's storming over here
okay,
really bad. Rough winds.
rough winds and stuff. Okay. I
But
mean, at least you
it's
still got Wi-Fi.
okay. We haven't lost power, thank God.
Okay. No, that's good. That's good. No, hopefully, y'all are gonna be okay up there.
I don't know. I don't.
Okay. No, hopefully everything will be able to be okay for you guys over there because I know it's supposed to hit hard. Apparently, it's supposed to be this big disaster, as the
Amen.
news
Yes.
said. But Floridians apparently y'all are used to this. This is old news to you guys and so forth. So but no, I'm truly grateful and thankful that you're able to come on and share your testimony on how God brought you out of the world and into His church. Before we get to that, as always, brothers and sisters, this podcast affiliates itself with one church and one church only. That is First Church of our Lord Jesus Christ, where the leader, teacher, and guide is Apostle Pastor Gino Jennings. If you want to be baptized right in the name of Jesus Christ, you can go on to truthofgod.com, click locations, see what location is closest to you, and reach out to the main point local minister there or the secretary of that location to set up that baptism. If you're looking to see if there's a church close to you in your area, you can follow the same procedures. Go on to truthofgod.com, click locations, and see which location is closest to you. All that I'm telling you here, if you click the description, it will open up under the video. You should see a bunch of the links there where all you have to just do is click and it will send you right there for those of you that can and so forth. But with that, other than that, brothers and sisters, let's not forget to keep the apostle and his family in prayer, as well as the faithful ministering brethren and their family as well. Let's not forget to keep one another in prayer just the same. As I always say, brothers and sisters, we never know what we are going through, what one is going through or has gone through. So let's continue to keep one another in prayer. And as always, I give all honor to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who is the head of my life, and indeed our soon coming King. I give double honor to the former prophets and apostles of old, double honor to our present day leader, teacher, and guide, Apostle Pastor Gino Jennings. And I give God thanks for the faithful ministering brethren who labor along with the apostle in this hard message of holiness. And I give God thanks for those of you that are on different auxiliaries and doing it faithfully. Those of you that are behind the scenes that nobody sees or knows, the work that you're getting done. Those that are running the Zooms for us on the Thursdays and all these type of stuff. Like this church is so big, brothers and sisters. There's so much work that gets involved. So I'm grateful and thankful for all of you that do it so faithfully. With that being said, don't forget to keep me and my family in prayer, brothers and sisters, as I do the same for you. That's enough from me. We're going to get our hermana, Sara, as testimony on how God brought her out of the world into his church. So, Sister Sara, tell us, how did God bring you out of the world and into his church?
Man. So it started when I was young. I was in daycare before kindergarten. I like girls. I dated a girl in daycare. And since then, I grew up just liking girls all the time. I never saw a man like that or a boy, and never saw myself with one. But I tried because that's what society was doing around me, and it just wasn't there. So fast forwarding, um, I ended up being in that lifestyle, homosexuality. I used to be what they call the stud. I never wore girl clothes, never wore dresses, never had long hair, except when I was young, of course. But when I can control it, after I got into middle school, I chopped it off.
Wow.
And it stayed chopped off after that. So it stayed short. And just through middle school and high school, I dated girls. Middle school, I didn't because that wasn't around me. So I just stayed single and I would date a guy, but it just wasn't there. And in high school, that's when I started dating women. And I actually went to homeschool after that. Did 2 years of high school, got out, just trouble in school. And after I went to homeschool, that's when I was working and getting really involved in the world and doing things I shouldn't be doing, like drugs, drinking, being around that lifestyle of homosexuals. I started doing performances. You talk about drag queens being around me. I was around that. I was in the parades, on the floats. Like, I was very active in that lifestyle. And I got a job overnight where there wasn't too much going on. So I was able to read the Bible for the first time, the entirety, with no understanding. But I wanted to know if I was wrong. I felt wrong when I was in that life. Something when I was dating a woman, I knew it was wrong, but I felt like God's going to accept me anyway. I was telling myself a lie. And I just felt uncomfortable about it. It always came up in my head. And then after that job, I read the scriptures. I got another job. I left that one. God blessed me with a new one in which my supervisor, he was like, I could tell you want to know God. He introduced me to Pastor Gino Jennings. And how he did it was, he said, have you ever seen that preacher? He slapped the picture of Jesus. He was on World Star. I said, World Star? I know about World Star now. I ain't never seen no preacher slap no picture of Jesus, though. And sure enough, he showed me the video. I saw it, and he said, he's the real deal. And he sent me a video. Had my number, of course, because he was my supervisor. Yeah. So he sent me a video from YouTube of Pastor. And right when I saw it, I knew that was the truth. Wow. Right when I saw now Elder Williams and Pastor Gino, them two together, I saw him reading and him deciphering, breaking it down. I knew, because I just got done reading the scriptures by the Lord's permission, but I remembered that in it, that he always brought two, never one. So just that captured me in 2018. Okay. And 2019, I was baptized in the name of Jesus Christ. Wow, wonderful. And that's when I had an experience. In 2018, I had an experience. This is how the Lord took me out of that lifestyle. I was sitting on the bed one day. It's like just one day watching TV, and next thing you know, I fell asleep. I went into a realm. Like, I was up in the spirit, is what people would say. And I was in a chair with the arms, and the whole bottom of the chair, the foundation of the chair wasn't moving, but the back of the chair was rotating with me on it, but my legs weren't moving. And there's a darkness that surrounded me, a heavy darkness. And there was a light that shined out of nowhere. And when I tell you, brother, this light had no shadow beneath me because I was looking. That's all I can do while I was rotating. There was no light. I mean, there was no shadow under the light, under my seat. Wherever the light shined, there was light. And the darkness was just around me. And I remember seeing, I was married to a woman at the time. Married to her for 7 years.
Wait, in real life? Like, you were married to a woman in real life or in the realm?
Yes, 7 years I've been married. I was married in the flesh, they would say, married to a woman. I was married to her for 7 years. Wow. And I saw her outside, like it's like telepathic, you see. And I saw her outside on the top step because we lived upstairs. She was smoking what is called a Black and Mild, a cigar. And I remember trying to call out for her while I was in this realm because I was scared, but yet I didn't know what was going on. And I tried calling, and it was just, that's all that would come out. I couldn't say her name. And then I felt Jesus. He was beside me, and he said, call upon my name. And I just said, Jesus. And I was out. And since that day, I wouldn't touch females. That spirit left me. I was like, don't touch me. Please don't touch me. I wouldn't do anything with her. I just couldn't do it. That spirit left me. Right. Since that day, I have not turned back.
Wow. My days. That's so as soon as you called on his name, just like that.
Woke up. I woke up. Wow. and crawled up to the top of the bed on the wall by the headboard. And I was just shaking and scared and crying. And she was trying to touch me because she was home that day. And she was like, "What's going on?" I'm just like, don't bother me. Leave me alone right now. Don't touch me." And since then, I just been changed, and I don't see that life. I don't indulge in it. It's just, I see the difference between the confusion and what's true. And that's a living a lie.
So tell us, because my God, you see what's crazy? I used to get testimony of those that was in this lifestyle, but they didn't come into truth. They just had an encounter with Jesus. But here it is now. We got somebody full blown in that lifestyle who came into truth. You see, God, he works in some mysterious ways. Eh? He just like, what is the mentality like being in that lifestyle? Because today it's like as if it just can't get heavy enough. It's like as if, listen, you thought we was crazy back then? Oh, we're gonna show you how much crazier we are now. Like, what is the mindset like living that life? Because you was in it. You were, married, for the 7 years, and I mean you was really in it. What is the what's happening in here during that lifestyle?
So there's a lust in your mind. It's like playing a role, if I can put it that way. You see there's a lust after that thing, and you want to just touch it and feel it and be that. So you fulfill yourself with that. Say it could be someone with a car, it could be someone with a shoe fetish. It's just they fulfill themselves with that. And with me, it was a fulfillment that's how I wanted to be touched. That's how I wanted to touch, and being that it was a lifestyle, and the things you see and do in that lifestyle, pretty crazy, pretty crazy. And it's just at the same time when you really truly question things, because it does come to mind. I've asked somebody else, "Hey, have you ever seen yourself being with a man?" And they were like, "Yes," and it was another woman. She said, "Yes." So I know it crosses our minds. It does. But we don't submit to it. You can't submit to it unless the Lord helps you. That's when you submit. But without his mercy, I wouldn't be here where I'm at today in the truth. I love it. And without the church, I'm telling you, I probably would go back. I probably would have been back. But I go to church whenever I can. As many times they have church here in Florida, we have to travel and take a van. I'm there. And if the van isn't driving, I'm driving. Wow. So it's a dedication, because I owe God. I owe him everything.
Wow. And so as you said, it does, cross the minds of, a lesbian where, okay, yes, you see yourself with a man and, it's spoken about. Now, how was your attitude like while you were in that lifestyle? Because it's like when lesbians or gays, they hear a certain, a teaching, just something that they just don't like, for, God doesn't like this. It's like they get real defensive. Like if they could murder you right then in that moment, they would, especially some of the ones I've experienced, or the ones that even they're for that lifestyle, got the flag and all this. And, it's like, what was your attitude like? Let's say, you're not in truth yet. What was your attitude like?
I mean, I was one of those who I actually got jumped for being what they call gay. I got beat up for it. I got criticized, but that just caused me to react back. It's like, oh, okay, if you want to judge me, then, you can't judge yourself. You get an attitude, and there's a sense of just fighting back, and there's a walk of pride. That's why they call it pride too, I'm sure. But there's a walk of pride that you have amongst yourself, because you're just like, I don't care what society thinks. I'm gonna do what I want, and you can't judge me. And of course, we used the scripture back then, don't judge people. So I was one of those. Yes.
You see, everybody,
but you gotta judge yourself.
Exactly. Everyone's gonna pick a scripture that fits for them,
Oh yes. Yes. There was things that we used to pick and choose out of the scriptures, but we were false. We were using it deceitfully without knowledge. Like we were truly ignorant. But I would fight back. Yeah, I would say stuff back, but it wouldn't hurt my feelings. Just because it was me, it wasn't them.
Wow. Right, these like that's just wow. That lifestyle is it's it's very wow, because I don't think maybe in the past, like people didn't take it as serious. You just may have somebody come out the closet, yo, I'm gay, bro. I don't tell nobody.
Right.
You know what I mean? But now it's like, oh yeah, this my boo. Oh yeah, we finna get like it's like it became so normal. It became so now tell us how was that process and what was going through your mind when like that marriage, like when you got married, like what is that like? Do you really believe? Were you really believing like I'm getting married? Like who even does that marriage? Like what do they say for better or for worse? Homosexual or y'all are different out here. Y'all are different out there. What was like? Explain us to that. Explain that to us.
Well, we went to New York to get married because it wasn't statewide where I live. Okay. That's when Barack was in house. And a few years later after that, it was able to in New York. So we drove up to New York and got married. And they just said, will you take her hand? Will you take her hand? And basically we just said I do's. And that was it. We got a certificate and walked out.
So of course, in God's eyes, y'all aren't married. So like literally in the country, like if you were applying for a job and they put single, married, widowed and stuff, legally, you would have been allowed to put married?
Yes, we were the military. I was married to someone who was in the Navy. And she actually, the military gave her the severance pay. When we were in that war, she got hazardous pay on top for having a spouse. I got the benefits, everything. So everything, we were married on paper.
On paper. Wow. And like, what was your parents, mind going through and like, how did this affect your family? I know Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
They don't play that. No.
No, they don't.
Like, so
my family in Puerto Rico don't know. But my mother did. And she assumed, but she was just like, ay, Sara. Like I just broke the bombshell on her. And she didn't speak too much on it because she knew we didn't care. It was like, we're going to do what we want type deal. No respect, basically. I respected my mother, but not to where I'm going to change my lifestyle. And if she didn't accept it, that's fine. But she accepted it, as most parents. They don't, but they do in certain ways. But because she was a nice girl, she was like, she's a nice girl. It's just y'all two know. But that's how she was. But her family, her stepmother disowned her.
Oh, the woman that you were married to.
Oh yes.
Where was she from?
Disowned her. They're from Ohio.
Oh, just in the States. Okay. Americans. Yes. Wow, and they disowned her, yeah?
Her father was fine with it, but her stepmother, nope.
Right, these. I can only imagine. What about for yourself? Like your dad and your cousins, they're all in Puerto Rico, or?
Oh, we don't speak to my family in Puerto Rico too much. I don't, at least. Okay. Yeah, I don't speak to a lot of family. Okay. And my father, he's deceased. He's been since I was young.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
It's okay. Thank you.
And so, okay, now let's go back to daycare, because that's of course where it began. A lot of times when I grew up, there were certain things and characteristics women and girls would do in high school: sit on each other's laps, squeeze each other's bums, tap that baby, tap all that stuff. If you see boys doing that, you're like, okay, whoa. You're not about to see a boy sitting on a boy in school or something like that. But when girls did it, it's fine. Like, do you believe like with all that stuff being done, do you believe that's how some stuff can get started? I mean, being experienced, you said it started from daycare. Like how does it start to build? Like what first goes through your mind at such a young age? Do you hear voices telling you, yes, you can be with a woman? Yes, it's okay. Like, Like what goes on?
Yeah, I thought I was born with it, to be honest. I used to say I was born this way because it started so young.
Mm-hmm.
But just, I was a tomboy.
Okay.
So I had my best friend, Jeffrey. He was a boy in daycare, and we used to just caught myself one. So, but the sitting on laps and everything, that's an introduction to it. That's a comfortability that you're building to where you're going to be comfortable enough to actually touch the female in the wrong way or interact with her in which we shouldn't. So it's a build up to that.
Wow.
That shouldn't happen.
Y'all see, y'all hear from old time yourself. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Y'all are hearing it, because for me, it was always like, I've always wondered just how can one just be so comfortable, because they would be so sexual. Like, listen, women are more sexual than men when it came to women, and like the stuff they would do. It's like, hold on a second. Are you sure you straight? Like, is everything okay? But of course, that could be an introductory towards it. I just wanted to know, if am I crazy myself, or is one who was in that lifestyle going to be able to say it and expound on it? But which is so true. And now, from the time when you started, actually, no, before we get to that, now here it is. You're married for, years are going by. You're married and so forth. Like, how do you break that marriage? Do you just run off and leave? Like, how like, was she like, huh? Like, did you say, hey, look, I'm going to follow Jesus? Like, how did that go? And do you have to go to like the courts to actually get like a divorce, to get your name off on the paper wise? Or do you just leave, and let's say, you meet a man, a brother, y'all get married? Would it show that you're married twice on paper in America? We know in God's eyes, you're not married at all. But I know, like, on paper, it shows that you're married in America. If you were to go, like, let's say you marry somebody else, does it show that you're married to two different people at the same time? Like, how does that go?
It's a good question. Well, yes, we were married 7 years. Mother, please wait, please. Sorry. We were married 7 years. Got divorced. I got divorced through the courts, of course. And COVID was going on.
Yeah.
So I had to submit everything through the mail.
Okay.
But other than that, when I told her, she knew that I was religious. She was too. They were Baptist, and her stepmother was Pentecostal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was raised Catholic, Baptist, non-denomination. I was in all those churches. I was church hopping also, and Trinity as well. But when I told her what I saw and experienced, and I let her know that that's not what I want. I don't have no feelings towards you. And there was a lot of other things happening in my life at the time. When I tell you everything was happening, everything was coming down. And I was just trying to find myself. So she kind of backed away. And I told her, I said, hey, I want to follow God. This is wrong. And I'm no longer like that. And she just let me go. She said, I'll respect it.
Wow.
She said, I respect your religion, and I'll let you go. Wow. It was hard for her. It took time, but she let me go.
Wow. You see, and this is a time you can get divorced, brothers and sisters, huh? Before you go running off and saying, we can get divorced in truth. This is a different divorce now. This is different. This is not even a divorce. It's not even a divorce. It's just countrywide. It is countrywide. It is
right.
Because on in paper. God's eyes, on paper, because there's things you have to just get done. But that's just my God. You see, just these testimonies. I'm telling you, like, you just never know. You just never know what somebody has been in or what they've came out of, and it just goes to show, which leads up to my next question. This is something I asked previously to some that have been in different lifestyles, because you're playing. I can tell you're admitting the truth. You said if it wasn't for this, you'd probably go back. Explain to us right now, and to those that are watching, whether they be in this lifestyle or anybody in some hard lifestyle, how important is it to have a hard and strong elbows and punches and knees and oh, this hook and that hook. How important is it to have a gospel like that to stay out of that lifestyle? Because look, yes, okay, brothers and sisters, you can say, oh, I'm done with smoking weed. I'm following truth. I am following the truth. But doesn't mean to say that that's going to just cut off. As you seen, the sister said, my God, if it's not for this, I can go back. You understand? So tell us plainly, how important is it to have something hard and rough to get you out of such a tough lifestyle? Because it is. That lifestyle that you were in, as those know today, it's so wide open. It's so like when you see they're trying to go after some third world countries and trying to push these things over there, and this is a serious thing, you know.
Oh yeah,
they're really trying to push this stuff in there. Schools, they already got it into false churches. You understand? They're trying to put it in everything. So how important is it to have a strong gospel to come out of a very, very tough lifestyle?
it keeps you pricked, keeps you humble, in remembrance from where you did come from and how you are changed. Because I don't speak to anyone who I used to. I had friends that over 10 years I stopped talking to them. Oh. I told them, hey, get right with God. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. And they needed, of course, closure, but I let them have that closure and explained to them, sat down with them and said, hey, this is this. I'm following the truth of God. Mm-hmm. And you know I'm going to church. Why didn't you ever invite me? Yeah. Well, it's not that I didn't invite you. If you knew I was going, you can come. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm changing. Obviously, you don't want to change. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to wait for you. Save yourself. Mm-hmm. So with that, I need to be in the truth. Mm-hmm. I need to be pricked and reminded where I came from. I need to remember all that. And I don't want to return to that vomit. Mm-hmm. It's dirty. It really is. It's a empty life. There was nothing fulfilled. And I was never stable. And now I've been stable. I've been feeling like I'm accomplishing things in the Lord, mm-hmm. that I have a purpose, mm-hmm. that I don't just live life without a meaning. So that's what it helps.
Wow. And what message would you have for those who are currently in this lifestyle right now? You know, who've been living it, or I'm in this, I'm born this way. Like, nah, this is me. Me and my boo, we're gonna die together and all this and that. We're really married and all that type of stuff. Like, what message would you have for them? Of encouragement, of course. Of of like of the reality of this and how they can come into the truth of God the same way you did.
My thing is to be truthful. They are living a lie, not only to everyone else, but to themselves. Mm. And the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself, in all honesty. And just turn away. It's confusion. It really is. It's confusion. You see things like the way I saw things, I don't see them that way anymore. But I understand. I do know where they come from and what they see. Mm-hmm. But now I see both sides. So it's just, you see the confusion in it and the wrong. Yeah. But it's just, they need to just look to God and keep praying, even if they don't want to get into the truth. If you seek him, he will be sought. Mm. He will be found.
Mm. All right, these. Wow. You know, one thing I've seen, with truth, it's not only brought people in and like it's hi he, but it's brought people in and brought people in on a humble manner, to really because it's easy where okay, now we're in something and we can just bad mouth and and this and stuff like that, but just within your speech, it showed so much humility from somebody coming out that lifestyle, because it doesn't seem that you pose yourself to be, oh, I'm better than you now and stuff, but that you're saying that there is a way, you're saying that there's an opportunity. And one thing you said so good is, yes, when you lie to yourself, shoot, like who aren't you gonna lie to? Because I know deep down, a lot of you homosexuals, deep down, you know this lifestyle you're not supposed to live. You know it's not. And then with Hollywood and all the stuff that the way they made these celebrities do, like some of these men said they would never wear dresses. Now they were dressed. People getting rich off of wearing wigs, and men are doing it off of getting wigs and all these women attire and stuff like that. It just goes to show. It just goes to show that this thing, like the LGBT, y'all. I never really considered you guys to be a community. Y'all are a gang. Somebody talks bad about y'all. Not even bad. Somebody says the truth. Oh, we getting him fired. Oh, we boycotting this. Like that. That's a gang right there. Like I'm just literally waiting to the day where a bill gets passed where people are gonna be put in jail at this point. Y'all gonna talk about us? Well, you getting sentenced. I'm serious. No, they are by far one of the most powerful gangs, and nobody talks about it. They are one of the most powerful gangs in the world.
Oh yeah.
LGBT community. Oh my, you can't even say left and right before you listen. You say something now, you go to your job. What are you doing here? You're fired. You want to talk about them? It's discrimination, buddy. And
exactly.
then to the point, they have the audacity to say, "Oh, it's equivalent to racism." Look at your face. Eh? Look at your face. There's a difference between me being judged because of the color of my skin versus a characteristics someone does not want to accept. That's two different things. Here it is. I'm going in there. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, hello. Versus you coming. Listen, today I am Samantha. You're not gonna call me this, you understand? You're not gonna call me this, you understand? Huh? Who wants to deal with that? You can't force somebody to deal with that. And now you want to get their children. Can you imagine? Can you imagine one day I come on the podcast? Greetings, brothers and sisters. We have sister Sara here that's going to be sharing her testimony on how she came out of the world and into the truth. Oh my God. Like, come on, man. Come on. This man over here, that's to be brick. You understand? So they are a gang. They are a gang. But before we conclude, sis, when you look back and see what the Lord has done for thee, how grateful are you to God for Apostle Gino Jennings?
Oh, it's a blessing to have an apostle. I used to hate that I was born in this decade or this age. I used to want to be born back then in the 20s when women wore dresses and men wore top hats. I love that age. And I used to say it to myself, I wish I wasn't born. And now meeting an apostle, that's something that you read about. That's something that it's just not heard. It's heard of, it's read, but it's not heard to the fleshy ear. So it's an honor to be able to actually go to an apostle, meet him, have him pray for you, being amongst him, because he speaks directly to God. He deals with God. God deals with him. And it's just a pleasure and such a blessing. It's an honor. It's his grace that saves us. So, and I love that he's a stern man. You don't go left or right. I looked up his name too. I don't know if you looked up what his name meaning is.
Well, the meaning of his name?
Yes, Gino.
What is the meaning of Gino?
Strong warrior.
I never knew that. I never knew that. Wow.
Yes, because he had certain names in the Bible.
Oh, okay, yes. No, and he's a strong warrior indeed. Glory to God, he's a strong warrior indeed.
Oh yes.
But no, sis. Wow. I'm very grateful and thankful for you taking the time to come out and share your testimony. Of course, some LGBT person is gonna insult me after this, as they usually did when I used to, post in the past and stuff. But I don't care.
Oh yeah.
It's just it's just crazy how I was getting testimonies of people who were in that lifestyle, and gave it up, to now getting a testimony of one who's in that lifestyle, and another as well, who's coming into truth. It's the way God does things. It's wow. It's a wow factor to me. But honestly, be encouraged. Continue to strive. Continue this, because this is the right way. There is no, as tough and rough as it is, we're gonna have our challenges, in it, and dealing with people on the outside. But it is the correct way. So I'm truly grateful and thankful for you to, you know, take the time to come out and share your testimony. I pray and hope that you know, this encourages, you know, those watching, that doesn't matter what dirt of a lifestyle you came out of or that you are currently in, you have the opportunity to come to God the right way, brothers and sisters. And those of you watching out there, there is a way that you can come in. You know, it's, you may look at it, I've done this. Listen, what she was in, okay, she was in that homosexual lifestyle. I wasn't in it. I can't look at her and say, look at your face with your nasty self. Who said I came out of anything good? Huh? I was in some nonsense myself too. Listen, there's not enough money in the world I can have to afford to say, oh, I can talk down on her. I can talk down on, no, that's her past, but now it's not her present. I have my past, and now this is my present. You understand? So whatever you're in right now, if you're watching this right now, I'm telling you, listen, you can go look at every other church around left and right, but when you really want to come out of a lifestyle, you really want to get out of something that's hard to get out of, that's rough and tough, you're gonna look for the right thing. If parents out there, they want their kid to actually succeed in school, they're gonna do the best possible way they can to get them to succeed. They're not gonna bring their kid to a school that's teaching 1 + 1 = 5. Eh? So why is it when it comes to the word of God, that's when all of a sudden, oh, well, you know, Gino Jennings, for me, he's just too provocative, yeah? He's just too rough with the words, yeah? He's just too, all of the excuses in the world, just so you can live that lifestyle for the devil more and more and more. But I'm telling you right now, these testimonies that are coming, you know, sis, if you've inspired and encouraged me, you understand? You've inspired you. I've learned so much from your testimony that despite of whatever you are in, whatever it is, if you really want to get right with God, he will give you that opportunity. Yes. So I'm truly grateful and thankful for you to come and share your testimony, sis. May God keep you, brothers and sisters. Keep Sister Sara in prayer. You know that, you know, she continues to strive and hold on to God's unchanging hand. Yeah, go ahead.
So I wanted to say, he'll come when you least expect it too.
No, that's the truth of it. I didn't expect it. I never. No, that's a true thing. No, that's a true thing. And for yourself, like did you ever have did you always have a belief where one day or another you're going to get right with God, or you never expected it? You never you thought this was your life forever?
I thought I was right with him.
Wow. My days. You see, that's different. It was one thing. It's one thing of being in wrong, and I'm doing it knowing I'm not right with him, then to do my wrong and believe I'm right with him. That's wow.
Yeah. And I just want to share one last thing.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I actually have her name tattooed on me.
My days.
So that's my ex-wife's name.
Wow.
And people say I don't look the same. Mm-hmm. They don't recognize me. So I believe, you know, that spirit, you take on that spirit.
Yeah.
And I've had people that don't recognize me anymore.
No, absolutely.
From my past.
Yeah. No, homosexuals, y'all have some. There's some texture to you guys that's very different. The men, the women, like the way just the demeanor is. It's just very bizarre, very very bizarre and stuff. But wow, so that means you was committed to that lifestyle to the very end. My days, tatted the name on you, and my wow. So that mean when you do something like that, that means you thinking this is it. I'm good to go. Kabish, everything's good. You see, that's what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. I'm telling you, no matter what. And for those of you in the church, if you have somebody out there, they may have made that same commitment. You know, oh, I'm in this life, mom, and I'm not changing. Keep praying for them. Oh, nah, this is me. I'm born this way and I'm staying this way. Keep praying for them. You know, as you can see, the sister was fully committed, fully well committed. When you put someone's ink on you, you committed. You committed to the very end. But God, of course, had different plans and different intentions, and the plans he had was always better than the ones that we have, and so forth. Well, no, sis, once again, thank you very much for coming on. Don't forget to keep her and her family in prayer, brothers and sisters, as well as myself and my family just the same. Let's not forget to keep one another in prayer as well, so that we could continue to strive and hold on to God's unchanging hand. Don't forget to keep the apostle and his family in prayer, as well as the faithful ministering brethren and their families just the same. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters, for listening. Take care. God bless and peace be. It's your brother, Sundin, Esperance.